to a very hot day here in Florida, and welcome to the High and Empowered podcast. I couldn't wait to go live today. I couldn't wait because of the incredibly hot topic that we're going to be talking about. So I guess it's just appropriate. It's a hot day, hot topic. Today we're going to be talking about the recent news from the DEA talking about rescheduling cannabis to a Schedule III drug. Now, as excited as I am, and as elated as I am that we have come this far in cannabis, I'm also worried. I'm worried because this brings a lot of different implications to the table. This brings a lot of different worries. When we're rescheduling something, what does this do to the recreational market? What exactly is this going to mean for the medical market moving forward? And of course, in my eyes, I really feel this emphasizes the need and the doubling down of education in the cannabis industry. I mean, we need to dispel misconceptions. We need to promote responsible use, microdosing regimens, medical benefits, highlighting the therapeutic potential of cannabis and that importance, which also furthers research. Because again, there hasn't been a lot of new research into the plant for the last 10, 15 years. Everything comes from research that was originally done. So again, welcome everybody to the High and Empowered podcast today, coming to you live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Insta no, I don't know, Facebook, and a few other places, as well as Twitch. And we're trying to come to as many people live. If you have questions, talk to us. Let us see what we can answer. But today we're dispelling some of the myths. We're talking about the pros and the cons of rescheduling cannabis. I mean, why not? Today, it's such an important topic because we're looking at the future of cannabis, the future of moving forward, and what exactly that's going to mean. So, look, let's talk about the pros of rescheduling cannabis. Access to medical treatment. We're going to be looking how this improves medical marijuana, improves the education and the knowledge behind using it as a medical application and understanding it, so that now this is, and we're going to get into this and we're going to definitely classify it. But this means this gives validity to cannabis. So by rescheduling it, the DEA is deeming cannabis not as harmful. They're still saying it's harmful, but not as harmful. This puts more restrictions on what's being grown, how it's being grown. It could take years to have certain drugs and therapies approved before they're even on the market. So rescheduling it opens up research. It opens up the medical side of things. It's going to reduce legal penalties. I mean, keep in mind, it's been months since I've seen serious cannabis arrests as far as smoking in public or using the plant or growing on your own. Now, if you're transporting pounds upon pounds upon pounds, obviously there are legalities against transport of large amounts of marijuana. I mean, obviously you're doing it with intent to sell, and then in that case, obviously it's illegal and you'll go to jail. But if you're not doing large amounts, if you're growing on your own, you carry small amounts, you're smoking in public, you're not going to jail, you're not getting ticketed. I haven't. I've been very lucky. Now, there's still a lot of people living in states that don't have, I mean, there's 38 states right now that have medical programs here in the United States. So by rescheduling it, this is huge for medical patients, because now we get to start talking about the education again. We get to start talking about the medical benefits and how it can actually help. Because this is the DEA saying cannabis helps. This is the DEA saying it works on the body medically. So this is big. This is big on multiple different levels. Economic opportunities. So the economic benefits of legalizing or rescheduling or descheduling cannabis, and we're going to talk about the differences today in that, because this is a reschedule that they're talking about, not a deschedule. A deschedule would completely take it off the books. A reschedule still means they have control. A reschedule means they can still hold things up for years on end. And the timeline that the DEA has in its history, they've taken their time, years in some cases, to approve life-saving drugs. But economic opportunities, including tax revenue, job creation. So again, I'm excited what we're talking about today. And again, if you just joined us, we're talking about the recent big hot topic, the DEA looking to reschedule cannabis, making it a Schedule III drug. Now, I also want to mention, don't hold your breath. I wrote this down earlier. Don't hold your breath. Don't sit there and think like this is going to happen overnight. Don't sit there and think the rescheduling of cannabis is going to help the recreational market. It's not. It's still illegal on a recreational level. So reschedule. I keep saying descheduling. So rescheduling just means we are now opening things up for medical research. We are opening things up because now the DEA accepts cannabis as a life-saving, as a life-extending, as whatever they're accepting it as. They're accepting cannabis as help for people that need it. So research advancements. And this is where I get really pumped, because there are some great scientists out there, cannabis scientists, that have made incredible strides. This will help them continue. This could unlock opportunities for further research into medical benefits and the risks of cannabinoids. So hypermesis syndrome, for example. Since the recreationalization of cannabis, there have been a lot more cases of hypermesis syndrome, which is where when you smoke cannabis, you get stressed out, you get short of breath, you get your blood starts to race. Your instead of it relaxing you, it does quite the opposite, and it makes you feel a little crazy. So I have friends that have experienced symptoms of hypermesis. And usually it's not because of how much they smoked, it's just what they were smoking. I mean, when I say that, one day, he was smoking a sativa, a very strong one that he wasn't used to, maybe one of the terpenes that his body wasn't accepting. And he showed a lot of the signs of hypermesis. He couldn't breathe. His heart was pumping too fast. He was getting stressed out. He was creating a situation for himself. In that, he was creating a problem. I say that because the next day we smoked again, and he was perfectly fine. Didn't have hypermesis syndrome and hasn't since. But other people I've spoken to have had that or issues reoccurring the more they smoke. So I had something similar for a moment, and I got nervous. I'm like, oh my God, holy shit, I can't keep smoking weed. I can't medicate myself with cannabis. And I was all stressed out. I was nervous. My hands were shaking. My heart was beating. My blood pressure was up. I was starting to get a headache. And then I was looking when I was smoking. And I'm like, maybe this is just not working with me. I took a break. I took a tolerance break. These are the things that we need to talk about to medical patients. Taking a tolerance break, letting your body reset so that the THC can work again. After a while, you build a tolerance, much like you would with Vicodin or codeine or acetaminophen or whatever it is that you might be taking. Your body builds a tolerance. Same thing for cannabis. You build a tolerance. We start using cannabis because we want to feel better. We want the bricks of life to just kind of come off our shoulders so that we can talk to people. We can work, or the PTSD of life can be just a little bit lighter. This is why we get into cannabis. So, long way around. Your nose and your body tells you what's not working for you. When it comes to things like hypermesis syndrome, yes, it's real. Yes, you need a break. Yes, I took a week off and I felt better. I smoked a joint and I was like, wow, I really needed that. I can see where my body was different. Was I addicted? Did I need it for the week that I didn't smoke? No, I was fine. I was a little groggy, and I was a little sharp with people and I wasn't as chipper as I normally am. But when I smoked again, I didn't have to smoke as much. And that amount that I used was able to process and help in my body. That's a big deal. That's the thing we need to talk about. So right now, again, we're talking about descheduling and cannabis. I'm going all over the place. And we're also talking about why we use cannabis, what brings us into cannabis, and what keeps us here. That's why I want to talk about descheduling or rescheduling, because that, again, it's research advancements. This opens up a whole new field of research that is supported by the DEA. And again, with the DEA giving validity to cannabis. Boom, this is huge. In my lifetime, I could have never anticipated this. This year, I turned 50. I don't want to talk about it. Let's move on, okay? But my whole life, I've been involved in cannabis, whether it be growing or procuring it or helping patients or helping brands. I've always been in cannabis, and I've also been on the side of activism at the forefront of education and information and demystifying, changing the mindset of cannabis. So in that, and in my love for the plants, rescheduling to a Schedule 3, it's huge. And I'll explain again a little bit more why I think that's so huge. But let's talk about some of the cons of rescheduling, or the proposed cons. There are public health concerns, as in, negative health effects of cannabis, like we were just talking about, but also the risk to adolescence and addiction. But there's no addiction. You don't get addicted. So I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about kids getting access, but not with rescheduling. It's going to be the same. The medical programs that are currently in place really won't change. The recreational programs, I don't know. I don't know what this means. I do know that this opens up, and I did see it from somebody else. This opens up the purchase of flower or cannabis from these MSOs, maybe from a conglomerate of growers. So the quality may go down, not up. The education needs to go up, but the longer the MSOs hesitate on teaching the public about the plant, because the MSOs are multi-state operators, your big cannabis operators. And the reason I bring them up, because these are the ones that are going to be in control of the medical market as we reschedule. They are also the ones that are going to be mostly in control of the recreational market. It's the responsibility of your large cannabis corporations to not only teach their employees about cannabis and how to educate and teach others, because with rescheduling it, it gives validity. So now when your bud tender is talking about how cannabis is going to help your arthritis, cannabis is going to help your fibromyalgia, your neuropathy, it's going to help your hip pain, your bone pain, your nerve pain. This gives validity to what they're talking about, and possibly gives future, where we're talking about scientific breakthroughs, this gives new medications, new healthcare options. This gives new workplace options for cannabis nurses that are schooled in the studies of the endocannabinoid system. Again, I'm torn between two places, because where it's good, it's also bad. I mean, look, public health concerns, there's safety risks. I'm not worried about public health concerns or safety risks. Also, there's the debate of it being a gateway drug. I don't know what those people are smoking, but it's not weed. And maybe they need to, and they'll change their stance on it. Regulatory changes. Now, the regulatory complexities involved in rescheduling cannabis, and the need for the comprehensive frameworks to address safety, labeling, taxation, scientific research. You see why wow. I mean, that's a con. There's so much. Do you know how much goes into rescheduling and the complexities behind it? That's it in a simple way of saying it. Wow. Wow. Because look, the years that it takes to not only build this framework and to put together those SOPs, I'll say SOPs. It could be, look, it could be forever. And that's why I'm big on the need for education to dispel misconceptions about cannabis. Look, it's the importance of educating the public to not only dispel myths and misconceptions, but for them to better understand how cannabis works in the body, how it activates neurotransmitters, how it releases dopamine in the body. And that's not for every part. That's just when you smoke it, or maybe when you eat it. But if we're using it as a topical, we're using it in a regimen as an oral solution. You know, there's so much to talk about. Promoting responsible use. Again, this is education. And this needs to come from your large cannabis companies. They need to employ field activation reps. They need to employ outreach, community outreach. I know some have it, some don't, some can't afford it. I feel it's not that you can't afford it. You look at the bottom line and you just don't need it. You need it not only to advertise your brand, you need it to show medically what your brand is capable of, what your company's heart is capable of. You bring in new patients not just by promoting, hey, I've got pre-rolls, hey, I've got tinctures. They don't give a shit. Everybody has that. Everybody has that. You bring in new customers by showing them that you are community, by showing them that you want to educate. So in the rescheduling of cannabis, take this as an opportunity. Take this as a huge opportunity to double down on education. I mean, look, the medical benefits. We could talk shows, many shows I could talk alone about the medical benefits of cannabis. You know, the therapeutic potential of cannabis and the importance of educating healthcare professionals. This is big because now your healthcare professionals are the ones talking to the patients, bringing new patients in, bringing new people into the fold, teaching them that there are different alternatives to the medications they're currently taking. This does open up, I feel, the door for our pharmaceutical industries to come right in and try to patent a myriad of products that will bring pills to the table, cannabis pills. I don't know. I'm nervous at the future and what it brings. I would prefer descheduling cannabis. I would prefer legalizing cannabis. But in that, education is still key. Look, community outreach, exploring the role of education. That's what a lot of people need to do. They need to explore the role. That's what these cannabis companies need to do. They need to explore that as a role for their employees and to teach their employees about community, cannabis, legacy, strains, land race. Let's talk about the original OGs of medical applications when it comes to cannabis, the Chinese. And they actually, in the Ma, I think it was, the original scriptures of medical scriptures back in the many moons ago, very long time ago, cannabis was a therapeutic agent for, I mean, we're talking about pages of problems that they were dealing with back then, from gout to circulation. They were using cannabis in all of its form, making tea. And tea, remember, when you're decarboxylating and you're making a tea, it's at such a low temperature that you're dealing with what's called CBGA. The Chinese healers knew that hundreds, thousands of years ago, actually 3,000 years ago, I think. Probably wrong, but whatever. But still, so today, or not today. Now, okay, and I want to say this really quickly. When I say that the DEA is rescheduling cannabis, they are planning to reschedule. That doesn't mean it's happening anytime soon. Again, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath like it's going to happen right now. Like, I'm not eating or drinking or bathing until they do it. Well, you're going to be hungry, thirsty, and really smelly and dirty. But no, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. They're going to talk about it. So, really quickly, before I continue saying the pros and cons and talking about the education of cannabis and emphasizing how we need to double down on that, look at this as possibly a political ploy, a political move. I said it because it just kind of reeks of political. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to stay on that topic. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's aliens, but I love Giorgio Papolino. Sorry, I butchered your name. But that's the thing. This is a political move. Right now, Biden telling the DEA, we need to deschedule cannabis. You know, Biden was actually very much against cannabis. And his early reforms, remember, Biden has been in politics for like 50, 60 years or forever. I don't know, forever. I'm not against anybody. I'm not against either candidate. They all have their negatives. Because I'm not a political person. But go back 30 years ago and listen to what Biden said about cannabis, about marijuana, about legalization, about the public getting a hold of it. He was against it. And he created legacy and institutional initiatives that are still in play today against cannabis and families. He helped put people in jail. So now let's get some votes and let's talk about rescheduling it a little bit. Let's make things a little better for people, because I need some votes. I want to be, I don't know how he's going to make it through presidency. I don't know what drugs they're giving him, because every time I see him talk, he's good for like, I don't know, 45 seconds, 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes maximum. You can ask him questions. He could do a speech. It better not be longer than 3. By 3 minutes, he starts, he's fading. He's fades quick. So whatever drugs they've got him on, he's good for like a couple of minutes. But it's votes, and it's to help talk about their campaign, their push for the people. But I've been pushing for cannabis legalization, decriminalization, descheduling my whole life. So I'll take it. I'll take it because, and let me be very, very clear here. I feel that things can be changed later. Adjustments can be made once the big moves are made. We can make a lot of little moves. We can do a lot of education, and we can change a lot of minds. It's like here in Florida. Florida is trying to put recreational initiatives for cannabis on the ballot. Most people don't read the bill, so they'll never read the extent of what the recreational bill actually means. No new licensing, no social equity licensing, no home grow. Also, that means the people that are in control of it now will continue to be in control, which is fine. But again, that's where education needs to come in. So I'm all for recreational going on the bill. I say that, but remember, it comes with a lot of heartache. There's a lot we're not getting. There's a lot the people are not getting that they need. But we're getting a big hurdle here in the state of Florida. Little changes can be made later. So I'm feeling the same about Schedule 3, where I am applauding the move for business and banking, but it will not help interstate commerce. I feel that's another big one. When I say that, and I had to pull up a few articles just to make sure that I didn't forget these things, like what happens next. This could take, again, forever. Oh, I work up a thirst. So, before I get too far into talky about rescheduling, descheduling, legalization and growing your own. Before we get too far, I do want to mention that today's flower I'm smoking comes from a company that, again, I'm not promoting the company directly because I'm not supported by any of the cannabis operators here in Florida. I am supported or somewhat supported by a cannabis operator in Denver and New Mexico, which is Starbuds. And if you are in Denver, get to Starbuds. Wow, I was there. Check out some of the videos that I have on my LinkedIn page or my YouTube or Facebook. I was there. They took great care of me and really showed me how their employees are embracing education, embracing the talk of cannabinoids and terpenes, and really showcasing a lot of their products. So, but today's product does not come from them. So it's only a quick shout out here in Florida. I'm not going to say the company, but I'll say the strain, because it is delicious and the buds look fantastic. Wow. It's 64 Sunrise. It's a sativa. I picked it up the other day because the deal was so good. And I want to show this bag. This is the bag, hermetically sealed. You open it, and now the you should probably put like a a little bag in there, a little like an Integra pack or something to keep moisture inside of it, because once you open it, that's when it starts to dry. But the second I opened up this bag, the smell hit me. And when I say hit me, oh, just a myriad of emotions that I had once smelling this. So, look, let me open it now and maybe pull out a bud and show you the gorgeousness of this. Let me see if I can just kind of describe it. It's a sativa, 64 Sunrise. Oh, oh, whoever cured this cured the shit out of it. They did a really good job. Wow, that is just delicious. So what I really like is this company lets me know the THC content. They're letting me know the total percentage, how much CBD it has in it. I can scan the label and I can find out what terpenes are in this product. And I'll tell you, oh, it's lemony, it's citrusy. Oh, I smell like berries. Oh, wow. I mean, just the smell alone activates my neurotransmitters. Just that smell, without even smoking it, it affects me in a way where it starts to balance me out. Look, I have a lot of energy, so much so that I find it difficult to concentrate. I probably have ADD, attention deficit disorder, ADHD, hyperactivity disorder. I probably have a lot of things. And I would love the furtherance of scientific exploration into how I use sativas to balance me. Now, originally I started using sativas to counter my effects of ADHD, ADD, bipolar. I use it to counter the effects. And people say, yeah, doesn't it make you worse? So I did it off the premise of this. One of my kids, when he was a super tiny munchkin in first grade, took him to class, and he's hype. He's like me. He's like, and he wouldn't sit and listen to the teacher, wouldn't pay attention, wouldn't do his schoolwork, and he was just a ball of energy. The teacher pulled me aside and said, listen, I want you to try this in the morning. Give him a little bar of chocolate, like one of those that you get when you're trick-or-treating, a little bar of Hershey's or whatever chocolate, not calling anybody out, and a little cup of coffee. What? You want me to give this child chocolate and coffee in the morning? Is that really a good idea? So but I'm willing to try anything. So I did it. He was the best kid I've ever seen him be for like 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours. He was amazing. So I'm going to send him to school like this. His grades changed. His concentration changed. His friendships changed. So off of that thinking, I was like, huh, Well, I smoke a lot of indicas only because that's what I have. That's what I know. Getting into the medical program opened up my eyes, because I was lucky that the bud tender I was dealing with had a love for cannabis and was well educated on his own. Now, a lot of places I've been to and a lot of people I've dealt with, and if I was a new patient, that has not been the case. I've walked in pretending I've been a new patient 100 times, 1,000 times, testing the people at the dispensaries. And wow, the disparity in people, in places, in vision, amazing. Now, there's some great companies out there with some amazing vision, and their voices need to be heard. Their people's voices need to be heard. Their people need to talk about their love and dedication for the plant, and they need to hear from their patients talking about how exactly it has helped them. So testimonials through education. That's what brings a lot of people into cannabis. Testimonials. When they hear a friend of theirs, I'm like, oh, it's so hot in here. Oh my God. This is like one of the hottest days. And this big metal unit I'm in really collects the heat. So anyways, me getting into medical cannabis, I wish more people would talk to somebody like I had talked to when I first got into the medical side of this more than 10 years ago. And that excited me to unlearn everything I knew, unlearn everything I knew about cannabis, and relearn how it can help me therapeutically, how it can help my ADD, my ADHD. So I took those lessons from that teacher for my child and used sativas to microdose and see how that helps change my direction. And it changed my life. I was lazy. I was lethargic. I was unmotivated for life. Changing my regimen, changing what I was using through education brought me fire, brought me energy, brought me excitement, changed my direction in life. And using cannabis in different ways to help me deal with sometimes the hardest things in life. I mean, right now, I'm dealing with very hard things in life. And I still wake up and I'm able to have a comical outlook on the hardest parts of my life, the hardest times. Um, you find the good in the bad. I feel cannabis helps me do that. That week I was off of cannabis. Actually, it's not like the first time I did tolerance breaks. I do it all the time. The longest I went was like 9 months. That was a crazy time in my life. That 9 months, I was not. Oh, that first joint or that first bowl that I smoked, 'cause it was a bowl. That first bowl that I smoked, I was like, what have I been doing this whole time? Why have I not been smoking? Oh, this is terrible. It's like I can think now. It's like the veil has been lifted once again, and there's life. I just couldn't see it for 9 months. So I see the difference in attitude, in mood. That's why I use cannabis. So rescheduling it opens up scientific research, opens up the talk of education. Now, right now, all I hear about, the DEA plans to reclassify marijuana as a lower risk drug, officials say. Another news source, marijuana industry hopes for new highs. I mean, if you look at the stock market and you look at cannabis stocks, I'm really glad that I have cannabis stocks. I've been losing money for years with them. I've been losing so much money. It's like I've been in the rear. It's like I owe them money. I lose so much money. So like I'm breaking even now. Thanks. I'm not making any money. It's just going up a little bit. It's going to go back down. There's senators now attacking marijuana banking bills. Hearings, Chinese money laundering and da 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 da. Shut up. Who cares? Not who cares. I take that back. If you would open up banking for these hardworking, legal cannabis companies, then you wouldn't think there's anything shady going on. But by rescheduling it, I believe this opens up a whole new world of banking. Banking. Now, I know I had the article somewhere, and in that article, it was talking about, how this is going to change and add to the industry. It's going to add jobs, of course, in educators, in scientists, and doctors, and nurses, in research. Uh, there's so much that's going to open up here. But I do want to mention we're only rescheduling, which rescheduling moves cannabis to a lower schedule, indicating that it's a less dangerous, but still regulated. Descheduling completely removes cannabis from the list of controlled substances, treating it more like a common item. I think moving for descheduling is just smarter. Less work. Rescheduling means, again, they still have control. They not only do they have control, but they can deem how long it takes for things to come out. They can deem what they consider safe, what they don't consider safe. But again, remember, this does give validity to cannabis, and that's something we've been looking for a very long time. I was talking about what I was smoking, and then I got sidetracked talking about political shit. I do want to show this bud. I pulled out some buds, and I hope it really shows that there's some striations of purple in here that are just, I mean, this is like their tiny buds. Here, let me go back this way. This is their tiny buds, and they're really compact. You see that? Very, very compact. Very compact. But they're beautiful. Look, they smell delicious. But they're very compact, and I don't know if you see some, you can't really see the perpies. All the ones that were super uber purple, I broke down already. And like, look at this. Look how dark that is. Do you see that? Those are the perps. That's the purple on this bud. That's 64 sunrise. So if you're in Florida and you're looking for 64 sunrise, it comes in bags like this, and it comes from a company like this, and that's it for them. It's good. And it was very cost effective. I'm just going to throw that out there. Like, wow. Because we're always looking to see what's cost effective. I was going to Sanctuary, but I do want to mention they raised their prices. And what I picked up last time wasn't very good. It was dry. So I don't know what they did. They raised their prices and shit got dry. Look, I can talk shit about everybody. That's how it works. I was going to Liberty Air Wellness. But that got a little expensive. Theirs isn't really good priced right now. True Leave is really high priced. Move was high priced. So I went to them, and their price was rocking, yo. Plus they have points, and they had a huge variety. So, whatever. That's where I went. That's what I got. That's what I'm smoking on. But also, what I'm also smoking on is Mile High Dabs. Boom. Lovely. This is a lemon haze. And today we will be puffing on the Puffco Proxy. This is the Sherlock Holmes of pipes. It's electric, so that you are not burning your cannabinoids at incredibly high heat. This is important. Again, back to the whole education of things. You don't want to destroy your cannabis. You want to get all the beneficial cannabinoids that usually are burnt when you smoke a pipe. You smoke a pipe with a lighter, there's butane contamination, there's high heat, and all those beautiful cannabinoids disappear. But you want the medical benefits of things. So I'm using the Puffco. Puffco, again, does not support me in any way, shape, or form. I wish you guys did. I'd talk more about you. They don't. But in that, it is a great medical product. Why? Because I'm able to get smaller regimens. I'm able to put small amounts in and control how much I'm consuming. And I'm able to do it at very low temperature, which means I'm able to get a myriad of cannabinoids that I wouldn't get if I'm smoking with combustion, lighter, butane, pipey, burny. So instead, I'm doing in this. So what I do and what I love about this, I loaded the bowl. I don't know if you can see that. There is some beauty in there. And what it is, it's sugar wax. Oh, it is delicious smelling. It's so hot. It's like melted and it's already ready. So we're just going to turn this thing on. It's a little button here on the side. I hit it twice. One, two. Now it did a little buzz. And when it buzzes again, that means it's ready. So anyways, let's keep talking. There are things going on right now that are bills that are being introduced into in I guess what is it, into the Senate, into the Congress, Senate. It's one of the two um, that are much more interesting right now than rescheduling of cannabis. I know I said it just now. When we hit the button again, I'm going to hit it again. Boom, boom. So now I have an extended period of time where I'm able to smoke because I talk a lot, and I do very gentle. My pull is very gentle, and I do that because if not, there's a little hole thingy in the back, and you're going to pull all your product right through. So I try to. I mean, I could take a harder hit, but I'm trying to gently hit my product so that my lungs are able to absorb it quickly and it's able to go and be a vasodilator. So this lemon haze, it's a sativa. It's going to open up my blood vessels. It's going to immediately activate my neurotransmitters. I'm doing it at a low temperature. So now hopefully I'm getting more of your THCV or your CBDV or CBGVA or CBD, more of your acidics and more of the V or well, super lemon haze, I guess. No, if this was higher in certain terpenes, it was grown a different way, maybe this would be high in THCV. Not all sativas have THCV, but I'm doing small amounts of it so that my body assimilates it properly. I'm not doing it to get high. I'm doing it to alleviate my pain. I'm doing it to relax myself. And this is where I'm talking, because a second ago I was getting da, 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 and I'm talking all over the place, but I'm smoking a sativa, which is relaxing me. I would have never thought this because there's always been a myth about sativas that has been perpetrated, that it gives you psychosis, that it makes your heart race, that it, in case there's any smoke in the chamber, that it gives you headaches and migraines. Actually, when I have migraines, I smoke sativas. What it does, it stops the endorphin rush or it stops the rush of whatever the hell that is happening and brings it down to a regular headache. And then I'll start smoking indicas, which relax my muscles, relax my mind. And that takes away my headache. I would have never known this without a little bit of guidance and education in cannabis. But those are some of the simple things that cannabis can help with. Look, when it comes to topicals. So anyways, much more interesting right now than rescheduling cannabis is Senator Schumer, Ron Wyden, Senator Booker. They are reintroducing the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act. That was yesterday that was posted, so that's today. Today, and it's a bill that would federally decriminalize and regulate cannabis. I just said it. You heard it. Nobody's paying attention to that. Now, does that really mean anything? Because they're going to reintroduce it. It'll get passed and then shot down by the House. Or again, I don't know how politically anything works. I'm absent like that. I mean, I know and I don't know, and I really don't care. I'm not political. But they're going to introduce it into the House or the Senate or somewhere. That'll get passed. Everybody will be really excited. Then it'll get to the next place. And those people will be like, no, no, no. But with the rescheduling of cannabis, maybe they won't say no. With the rescheduling, maybe the mindset, not now, but next year, in 2 years, in 3 years, maybe once they get educated in cannabinoids, maybe once they get educated in the beneficial medical uses of cannabis. Now that the DEA gives validity to cannabis, gives validity to its therapeutic healing beneficial attributes, well, then maybe in a year, in 2 years, in 4 years, the people who say no won't be saying no. So that bills that are reintroduced, like the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act, won't be shot down, won't be have to be reintroduced so many times. And the mindset behind these will be more open, more willing. And because look, just to remind you, the bill that's being introduced today, it's a bill that would federally decriminalize and regulate cannabis. So it's decriminalization, meaning you no longer go to jail for this. You can get a ticket, but you won't go to jail unless, of course, you don't pay any of your tickets and you avoid the law while not paying a ticket. I guess then officially you can go back to jail. And so we're going to let that solidify just a bit. I don't know if it will. It's too hot. Okay. So so the mindset towards cannabis can change through education, through community effort. And that's why today's show became about this. It wasn't originally going to be about the DEA rescheduling, not descheduling. We're not getting that lucky, but rescheduling cannabis. I wasn't going to do today's show about this at all, but it's hot topic, it's hot news, and it's something that we need to talk about. And I think we've given some pros and cons, and I think we've given a fantastic, if not excellent, path forward through education. And why we need to educate, why your bud tenders need to be educated by your cannabis companies, why your patients need to be educated, not only about the products and their uses and how they benefit, but through the DEA rescheduling, which again, don't hold your breath. It's not going to happen overnight. This gives validity. So cannabis nurses can talk of the endocannabinoid system and how it really benefits and helps patients. Look, I got into cannabis. I grew weed. Okay, I smoked a lot of weed. I still smoke a lot of weed, and it didn't make me a bad person. I just didn't understand it. I was probably always going to smoke the wrong shit and be happy with sometimes getting a hold of really good shit. When I started relearning, when I unlearned everything I knew and relearned cannabis, I found through research that at the time it could help cancer patients with many different types of cancers. My mother had a bone cancer, a blood cancer. She had a bone marrow transplant, which she was so lucky to have one. The cancer didn't end up killing her. It was something called toxoplasmosis, and it came from the donor. At least we think. I don't know. We don't know. I don't know. Maybe she had it dormant sitting in her system. We don't know. Could cannabis have helped her survive? Maybe. Maybe it could have helped kill off some of the cancer, giving her better antibodies in her body. Maybe it could have made her stronger, and maybe it could have made her happier. Happier people live longer. Happier people find strength and the will to survive. Maybe RSOs could have engulfed the cancerous cells and suffocated them out. Maybe a million different things. But that's why I got into cannabis. I was going to get high regardless. But when I learned what this could do, it changed the path of my life. And when I couldn't help the one person that I wanted to help, I wanted to help everybody. When I lost my mother, I went through a couple of years of torment and pain and self-reflection and authenticity search. Um, and it and all of that and my depression and relearning who I am, it ruined my marriage, it ruined my life. I mean, it didn't. I did that. And even in trying to save it and rebuild it, and you know, it doesn't. I Without cannabis, I would gone crazy. No, I all of that. I found my purpose was for people to learn about how cannabis can help them and how it can help others. So that maybe I can reach one person that can reach a million. Maybe I can reach one person that can help one person survive a little bit longer, a little bit happier, a little bit healthier through the combination, not just cannabis, but changing the fats in our body, diet, exercise, many different things. So I got into cannabis because I wanted to help my mom. I couldn't help her. So I stay in cannabis. I can do anything. I'm a great salesman. I believe in a product and I can sell it. I believe in cannabis and helping people. I believe in its therapeutic, beneficial effects. And through rescheduling, which again could take a very long time. And what exactly is it going to mean for the medical market? What is it going to mean for future products? What is it going to mean for them growing and listing, and how now that it's now that it's a legal product or within a legal field of products, what does it mean? How does reporting, how will things change? How will people's medication change? And in these medical markets, is it going to be more regulated? There's so many questions that I have, and I don't have the answers for you yet. But as we learn and as we get further down the line here in what's happening, I think we should look at it as a welcome development. Small changes can be made later, but rescheduling to Schedule 3 gives mountains more opportunities than what we have now. So that's my opinion, even though there's pros and cons to it, even though that I may look at rescheduling as as an anthill, when descheduling and legalization and decriminalization are right there around the corner. So maybe there's going to be a bill that's introduced and the opposition is not so opposing. Cannabis can save the world. It can save us individually. Clothing, rope, paper, medicine, therapeutically, building materials, vehicles. Henry Ford built a vehicle that was 90% cannabis or 90% hemp. Wow. It's the education of cannabis that changes everything. It changes the flow and the direction of not only how we look at the plant, but how it can help others. Look, a lot of my patients that I dealt with when I was working for some of the larger MSOs, I was out there teaching, like in the villages, and I'm teaching a much older crowd. A lot of naysayers, because we're like, well, I've grown up and this is terrible. I've grown up and this is terrible stuff and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And I can teach you about it. And I do. But they still don't believe in it until they see a testimonial from their friend, a buddy, somebody else on the golf course, that the creams and the topicals, the transdermals, the patches, they're helping. And they're doing a little tincture. And they're microdosing. They've learned how to do regimens and microdosing. They've learned how to treat it like a medical treatment. And in that, their life is changing. In that, they're changing somebody else's life. Education does that. The further progressive movement of demystifying cannabis does that. And again, very gentle. I'm not doing a hard hit. I'm very gently pulling from this. This is a sativa. It's lemon haze. After doing it, and remember, I'm doing it at such low temperature. Green is the lowest. It just turned off, but I'm still getting a little something out of it. And I'll show you what's interesting. Oh, did I just turn it back on? I hope not. I pressed the button accidentally. Okay, so I'm going to show you. So what's coming out, I don't know if you can see that. That's like, it's dripping out the backside. So I load it in here. And the excess, what I'm not using, the product that is, that, and you see it at the bottom there, and it comes right out. The second it cools, I use my little dabby pen tool from G Pen. That's where I got it from. I'm just saying. Um, it picks it right up. Anyways, just showing you what I'm using. When it comes to using concentrates, for example, and I just want to talk about that. So when it comes to education and it comes to using concentrates, your older generation is afraid because what they have seen is a torch and a glass contraption. And oh my God, they're scared shitless. They see this and they're like, that's a lot going on. And you want me to put my mouth where? So they don't, and they're afraid of it, and I'm afraid of it. That's a lot, and it's high heat, and also in those high heats with those dabs, and that's what people are doing. They're doing dabs. I mean, I guess that's a dab, but it's not high heat. It's very low heat. With the high heat, you're burning off all the beneficial cannabinoids, and really all you're getting is that blood-brain barrier transference. You're just getting head high. You're not getting the medical benefits of it at all. And when I'm doing it gently and I'm taking light, gentle hits through this, I'm getting just as high, but not quickly. I'm not getting that, oh my God, I'm high and I don't even know who the hell I am. Instead, it is letting my body and my mind assimilate it properly. Also, I'm getting some of the beneficial cannabinoids that disappear at high heat. I'm doing low heat. So then I'm getting just as high, but I stay high. And I just kind of, every time I hit it, I just kind of reiterate that beautiful high instead of blowing out my THC receptors. I'm not. Education. Education in a recreational market is essential. Education in a medical market, it's like playbook. If you're not doing that, then what are you doing? The patients need to learn how to use this where it helps them. I've had so many patients come to me when I was in call centers and they're like, look, I've been using this for the past year and this shit doesn't work. I take this time and I take a lot this, that time. And I just start feeling really high and I just never feel healed. Nobody ever taught him how to use cannabis properly. Nobody ever taught him to do microdosing, to do regimens. They didn't sell him a solution. They sold him a brand. They sold him a product. And they double sold him this product. And he's like, so what am I going to do with these 2 bottles of capsules of sativas? I can't do sativas. And I really don't believe a capsule can be a sativa. I don't believe there's really a terpene profile to it. Once cannabis gets to a capsule form or a liquid form where they're not utilizing the terpene or the flavonoids, then, or like if you're doing droppers, there's no indica sativa. There's just do dropper. But do small amounts and build up from there and see how it helps your body. Do a sativa dropper if you're having nerve and bone pain. Do an indica dropper if you need help sleeping, relaxing your mind, relaxing your muscles. Sure. And see how those work. Microdose. Start small and work your way up. Don't start heavy because then you have to work on bringing yourself back down again. And that can be done very easily with straight CBD, like a dropper full, and within a couple minutes you should be good. 2 Tylenol seem to do the trick, and you're fine. You're not high anymore. You've killed whatever THC is bonding in your body, I believe. I don't know. I don't know the whole scientificness behind it. The things that are coming out of my mouth today. But I do know that we are going to take a quick hit of this delicious 64 Sunrise because fantastical, because I was smoking the concentrate. Oh, wait, let me really quickly mention. So people are afraid of concentrates, and older generations are afraid of concentrates. When they learn how to do a Puffco proxy, for example, it's easy. That's what they want. They don't want that big glass rig. See, I digress what I was talking about a second ago. The big glass rig, the fire torch, and why people aren't doing concentrates. They want easy, they want simple, and they want effective. So the proxy, it's Look, here's my bowl. I open it up. I take my product out and I load it in. I close this up. And that same product is pretty good for, a couple of sessions. So when I load in a small amount of concentrate, it's sticky. When I load in a small amount of concentrate, that small amount of concentrate is going to be good for 3 sessions. And then whatever's come out that's no good, I can get rid of. When our older generation learns, and I'm part of the older generation, even though I don't like to admit it, but in that, when we learn to do things differently, high THC concentrations like that help my body. And I don't have to smoke as much. I don't have to use as much. That's a big deal. So now I'm using it more medically. Now, am I still going to smoke? Well, yes, of course. Am I going to smoke as much? No, not as much. I mean, during the show, and I want to mention, when I am doing High and Empowered for this hour and whatever it might be, I smoke a lot during this time. I mean, when I say that, like repetitively, I'll pick it up. I take a few hits. I take a few hits of that. But on a regular day, I don't smoke. In the morning, I might take an edible. And actually, the edible that I took, and I wish I would have brought the bottle with me, the edible I took this morning was a CBD, CBG, THC. Wow. Wow. Incredible. My mind has been great. It's been clear. I've been, just on fire. My synopsis. Great ideas today. And it's been regulating me really well. The gummy wore off shortly before the show. So I was like, oh, goody. Then I'll just smoke. But in that, during the show, this is a treat. A treat because I don't get the opportunity to smoke like that because of responsibilities, because of societal norms, because of how one must be viewed in a family structure. But throughout the day, if I need it, because the day can be tough, I sneak off to my car. My car usually, or here, to the bunker. The bunker or the car seems to be, it's not a bunker. This is a trailer. It's an old one, but it's neat. Love old neat trailers. I don't know. I like nostalgia. So whatever, I digress. You can see, I just talk. That's what cannabis should be. When we get together, we should educate, and we should just talk and educate and just talk. If we just educate, then we get bored. But if we also talk and just randomly spout shit off, it keeps things interesting, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the hell comes up. So in that, we learn. So the older generation learns about concentrates and using a device that's easy to use them in. I think that's a big deal. More walkthroughs need to be done. I do on my page, far back in my page, I might repost it so people see it again, is a walkthrough with Puffco Proxy. And it shows how easy it is to load, smoke, and I show how I go through multiple sessions. It doesn't affect me mentally in the sense that it keeps my mind clear. And you'll notice through those sessions, I'm exactly the same as when I started off sober, just medicated for different reasons. For example, oh, wow, okay. I want to talk about how the Puffco Proxy helped me last night. Last few nights, I've been working out again. I'm trying to get back in shape. Mind, body, spirit. I want to feel good. It's not just about the authenticity of self. It's feeling good about oneself. And if I feel good health-wise and muscle-wise and strength-wise, then I feel a little better mind-wise and confidence-wise. Not that I need it for my confidence. I have 1,000,000% confidence. I don't care. I love myself, and that's what's important. You love yourself. But sometimes we can't. We need things to help us love ourselves. So anyways, I'm getting back in shape. I'm eating right. I'm becoming more of a pescatarian, vegetarian, pescatarian. I'm learning what that means. With the occasional dabblance of meat. But I'm learning. But I feel great. I feel better. I feel healthy. I feel even more energetic than I normally do. I thought it would like calm me down. No, I'm like all over the place. But in my search for authenticity of self and and the resurgence of Orin, the refinding of my 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 inner power, my strength, my confidence. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So I've been working out, and I have on my left leg I have neuropathy, where large parts of my leg are numb. My toes and parts of my foot are almost totally numb. Or deep inside, I'll feel like a pins and needles. It's crazy. And then sometimes I feel it as far as into my thigh and even into my arm, and maybe my hand. Sometimes I don't know. So it's my whole left side. When I smoke sativas, certain sativas, and not like flower. If I'm doing flower, it doesn't seem to help. But CBGA, when I make tea, like when I make tea with a sativa, with cannabis, I make a tea, and you're decarboxylating it at a very low temperature. You're getting CBGA, THCA, CBDA, the acidics, and your body is doing a live decarboxylation. Amazing shit. Anyways, I feel things again for a period of time, not forever, but it's like it's reactivating, it's getting things moving. I also have fibromyalgia on the other side of my body. I know, confusing, but only in my foot. Oh, excuse me, where my foot is ultra sensitive. And I say ultra sensitive, so if I bump into a table, it's like a sledgehammer just hit it. So super ow. It could vary. Sometimes certain parts of the foot are more painful than others. And then I don't know what it is, but I get pins and needles in the whole foot. And then the whole foot feels like it's on fire for a little while. So long story short, how did the Puffco Proxy help me? I couldn't sleep. I've been tossing, I've been turning. My whole leg has been on fire because I've been working out. So I've been activating nerves, and I've been activating pathways, and I'm waking things up with the weightlifting or workouts and the regimens. I am activating things that haven't been activated in a long time. I coach soccer, and I've been running, and I haven't run in a long time because ever since a drunk driver nailed me. It's a show for another day. It is. It really is. I still have anger towards the leniency that they showed this drunk driver and the damage that he did to me for life. Anyways, but so I've been working out to get back in shape, and I haven't been running. So I've been running, I've been working out, and my left leg the last 2 nights has been like not just restless leg syndrome, but oh my God, I'm on fire, and I hurt, and I'm on fire, and I hurt, and I'm restless. There's no sleep, there's nothing. And so the first night, which I'm going to smoky just a little bit right now. Very tasty. Actually, it was really nice. I've been talking a lot, so I'm messing up my throat, and then I smoke flower, and I hit it really hard and hot, and that burned off cannabinoids that could have been beneficial. I wasn't doing it as an example. I just wanted a quickie, and then it goes away quickie. So it's not like when you get a high, you stay high all day. You get a little schmunz of high, and you're like, oh, a little schmunz, I'm high. Very good. I think research needs to be done with regular cannabis users that have been using for a long period of time. It doesn't affect me the same way. I mean, yeah, I still get some very lovely, now I'll get the giggles, but not as much as I did when I first did. And even after a long tolerance break, I will remain lifted longer, but I really don't get the giggles. I wish I did. That's what I miss. If I could have anything back that I had when I first started using cannabis, would be the giggles. Every time, like it was like for the first couple of years I would smoke. I would smoke joints. And people like, oh, I brought a joint. I'm like, oh my God, I brought a joint. Holy shit. And we'd smoke when I started. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. It was like 13. It was around my bar mitzvah, and somebody brought weed to the. Okay, so maybe it was a little bit before then. And so, anyways, I've always had a love for weed and different strains. I never understood them, but I understood how it affected my body. So, anyways, I digress. I'm talking about weed and Schedule 3. So yeah, we need to do a research study on people like me that have been smoking a long time, and even what tolerance breaks mean, high THC products mean for cannabis consumers. This is a big deal. Why? Because I can go half a day. Like, well, I mean, if I smoke in the morning, a concentrate, sativa, like say something that's flow. Flow comes from two indicas and it becomes a sativa. Incredible. Afghani purple tie. If anybody's growing that shit, wow. I know actually, I know the Starbuds is growing a variation of that because I saw it at their dispensary in Denver. Wow. Wow. Their tropical cherries or whatever that was stupid good. And then also I picked up Artsy flower. Artsy is the brand. And the flower I picked up, I think was Chrome, something like that, a sativa. The probably one of, and it also came in a hermetically sealed bag like this, which was very smart because again, that retains the flavor, the texture, the moisture. You need a little moisture to your cannabis. So Artsy was one of the brands I was smoking. So fine. Oh my God. I cleaned out 2 of my bowls specifically for this and rolled a super, super, super small pinner so that I can taste it at every hit. Wow. The terpene profile on this had to be skyrocket through the roof. That's what I'm looking for. The THC, though, was still pretty high. I think the THC was around 27. That's great. You don't need any higher than that. That was fine. It kept me high and lifted for the length of what I required. So where I think a cannabis study needs to be done on people like me that smoke their whole lives and have been smoking, where high THC makes a difference in things like dementia, or fibromyalgia or neuropathy, where maybe the high THC with THCV or the other active cannabinoids can be used in combination or on their own. Just throwing it out there because it's worked for me. I say that I've lost weight because of cannabis, because of high THC cannabis, but I've used it medicinally. That's where education needs to be forefront in this new expanding venture of cannabis and rescheduling. And again, if you're just joining us, don't hold your breath. Rescheduling can take a very long time. And we're talking about how education really plays a pivotal role in the future of cannabis and understanding how to use it properly. So I was talking about how I don't think I ever said it. I guess I should. So I was having problems with my leg. And recently, high THC and how this helps. I was having problems with my leg. It was throbbing. It was aching. It was restless leg syndrome. It was on fire. It was electric. I don't know what was going on, but I was getting jolts of pain. And this has been happening the last 2 nights. I couldn't sleep. Last night, I didn't put this one in. I put the other one, which it was also a sugar wax, and I put it into the proxy. And I just put a little schmunz in, and I couldn't sleep. But I'm sitting there at the table. I'm like, okay, all right. I loaded up my little bowl. I went out to the porch. I hit my little button. Boom, boom. It activated my pipe. Thank God it didn't need a charge. Thank God. No, I'm serious. This is what I did. I'm telling you exactly how it helped me. My leg is crazy. I'm standing up. I'm stretching it. And remember, I've been working out lately, so I really feel like the working out. I pulled a hamstring not too long ago. I pulled a hip and a rib, and no, I I feel like I'm falling apart sometimes. Oh, wait. So on the porch, just like that, I took such a light, gentle hit. And I know the other one was a sativa. And you're thinking, late at night, a sativa? Are you crazy, Oren? This is where we need to unlearn and relearn cannabis and how it can benefit us. It was also a sugar wax. I do prefer sugar, maybe a THC diamonds with beautiful cannabinoid terpenes, or maybe like a wax and sauce, or crumble. Crumble's my favorite. Crumble is so light, so airy, so gentle. Crumble, you taste every single hit. It's just gorgeous. Okay, it's worth every penny. So is this stuff. Mile High Dabs, very nice. Okay, so I did this last night, and I took that light, gentle hit. By the way, leading up to this point, my leg, it's like electric. There's like electric pulses going through my freaking leg. Gentle hits off the proxy. Just like that, it stopped. Just stopped. High THC was able to quell an immediate issue. Like, immediate. I mean, the pain went away, the electric jolt's gone. I mean, it's a little sore from working out, but gone. I went back inside, I put the pipe down, because there's no smoke that emits. By the way, once it's off, look, I don't smell anything. I probably wouldn't. But no smoke is emitting, so I'm able to put this thing down. It's responsible. I'm really responsible. And no flame is burning, see? So I went back in, I laid down, and I started watching, Hulu or Netflix. I think it was Netflix. Don't even know what I was watching. Oh my God, yes, I do. And maybe it was Hulu or something, or maybe, I don't know. It was The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. And as I'm watching this, I'm sitting there going, this is stupid. I have to be up early in the morning. This is stupid. What am I watching this for? And then I'm like, that's why I'm watching. I needed to laugh. Life is hard, and we need to laugh at stupid shit. Sometimes. My life right now is hard. I don't get many opportunities to laugh, so I take them. I remember them, and they remind me, like just now. I remember why that shit was funny. I'm not going to repeat it because it's probably inappropriate. But watch The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, and when the guy's hanging out the window, you'll understand why it's so funny. Or when people are stuck on fences, and they're escaping. I'm just silly, stupid shit. We need to laugh, and that's what cannabis helps me with. Sometimes I laugh again. So, anyways, hi, boom, hit me. I'm watching this. I fell asleep. I don't even remember. I fell asleep with it still on, and I woke up, and the pain wasn't there. The day before, by the way, when I woke up, the pain was there still. So I went to sleep with that pain. I went to sleep fighting that pain. Last night, I smoked one bowl or a couple sippies until it went out. I may have redone it again, like you pressed it twice more just to reheat it. And I was like, just a couple more. But in that, seriously, quelled my pain. Do you know how many people might deal with this? Do you know how many people are dealing with shooting pains, and they can't drive or walk or sleep? And if you can't do those things, it affects your mood. It affects your persona. It affects your whole world. It affects your relationships and your friendships and your workships. Whatever. I took that hit and I went to sleep. And I woke up this morning feeling really good. And then I took a CBD, THC gummy. And only one gummy. I felt great all day. I still feel great. Super energetic, super focused. Now, my continual smokage, is it helping that? It's reigniting my fire, maybe reigniting my flow. I like to bring myself to a certain flow. I like to work with the mood that I'm given that day. Every day you wake up, you choose your mood. You choose the path that you're going to take that day in your life. And people might be watching going, yeah, no shit. But sometimes we need to be reminded that we can change how we immediately feel. First thing in the morning, we're groggy. We should understand that and understand that about ourselves. But we should pull ourselves to a authentically positive place where we can approach the day with vim and vigor and strength and excitement, enthusiasm, energy. That's where it comes from. It comes from how I'm feeling. I used to smoke weed and I didn't understand how sativas can help me. Sativas, I live on sativas. I love them. Do I not use indicas? I was smoking Alien OG the other day. Loved it. Beautiful indica. Gorgeous. Also came from the same people that had that 64 Sunrise. Spot on, baby. Spot on, y'all. Oh, there was another one too. Wait, there was like a banana or a blueberry. Shit, I can't remember. Crazy name. Jelly bean or something. It was like really good. There's a couple that they've just released, I guess. The price was hot and the bud was good. So I look at that as well. But I also use some of that bud to make butter. And that's where I love to talk about microdosing and getting small amounts. I'm not always smoking. And that's going to be another show on its own. My smoking is, I'm cutting down. Because again, my esophagus, my throat, if I'm smoking from a pipe, I'm still dealing with butane contamination. I'm still dealing with high heat and burning off all these beneficial cannabinoids. Now, that's why I like to talk about the proxy. I don't feel like I'm smoking. I'm using concentrates. I'm using the high THC as my body needs. But I'm also getting it very gently. Now, if I do a dab, a high heat dab, my throat hurts, my head hurts, my brain hurts, my eyes feel like they're just and it's weird. Dabs hit you at like two different times. Like you'll take a hit and you're high, and then you'll think, okay, all right, I need to really not be so high. And you come down a bit, you're like, okay. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh shit, I'm really, 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 really high. Depends on the stuff. So when I do it like this, I'm never high. I'm controlled. That's where the education of cannabis needs to come in. People need to hear about what happened to me in my leg. Wow. Wow. Took the pain away. I went to sleep. I got up today. I am rocking and rolling. The pain is gone. So now I can think clearly. I can do other things. When you're in pain, it restricts you from doing things. It restricts you from living your life properly. And I don't know. I think we've talked about a myriad of different things. We've talked about rescheduling, descheduling. Legalization would bring more control from the government in that they are legalizing it so that they can tax it, so that they can control the pathways of it. So this might be a building block, this rescheduling that we're going through or talking about, or the possible talking of rescheduling. Because for the DEA, this could be years in the making. That's a great ending point for today's conversation, by the way. Years in the making. Don't hold your breath. This could be on their agenda to talk about. And this could be on the agenda for Biden and Camilla to talk about. Is it Camilla? Camilla Harris, I think it is. But this could be on their agenda to speak of, to get votes, to win over their constituents. They could be telling them, hey, you see that? We are pushing the DEA for rescheduling. And people would be like, they don't read a bill. They don't know what the hell's going on. And for the greater good of cannabis, I say, yeah, go forth and conquer. Go forth and make strides, cross picket lines, reschedule. It should be decriminalized, should be legalized, should be homegrown. Damn it. It should be taught within communities how to grow this yourself and cultivate it and extract it and use it in a tea or to eat it raw. I eat raw cannabis. I juice it. I used to chew on it. I started doing this. I'll really quickly tell you. Bruce Lee. I love Bruce Lee. I love the dedication that he showed towards mental mindset and well-being and health. But he had stomach issues. I didn't know this, like a Crohn's or an IBS. And so he would eat and chew on raw cannabis. Wow. And when I found this out, like, well, he was a stoner. No, he wasn't. He didn't smoke a joint. He never smoked a joint, I don't think. He ate raw cannabis. And I'm like, well, why would he do that? So I started looking it up. And there's magnesium, manganese, omega-3, omega-6, highest protein of any plant, great fiber. Wow, that's incredible. And then I look back at ancient Chinese traditions and medical scriptures, and doctors used to prescribe it to be eaten raw. So I blend it into my green juice. And that way, it's able to get into my stomach. It's able to help coat my stomach and help. And where I've read, where it helps change my metabolism. So I used to weigh quite a lot many moons ago now, and I used cannabis to lose weight. THCV products high in THCV act as a suppressant, a hunger suppressant. And I smoke a lot of sativas. Also, eating raw cannabis with the high amounts of omega-3s, omega-6, I would eat raw seeds. I was just very lucky I was able to get a hold of things. Hemp seeds, I still get a hold of them now. I actually buy them, funny enough, the shelled ones in Walmart. I know. And they're great. They're well priced. I'm very excited about things like that. So through the combinations of things like that, I helped change my metabolism. Because I used to look at food and I would gain weight. I would smell food, and that was like a pound. I would look at me. So I lost about, in the combination, not just cannabis, but the combination of cannabis, I lost maybe 140 pounds over the course of time, and kept it off, sort of. I mean, lately I haven't been fitting into my. The other day I couldn't fit into any shorts, not one pair of shorts. It was like ridiculous. Pants can't fit in the pants. I've just got this belly, and it came from, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know where it came from. I mean, I've been talking to it. I'm like, where did you come from? This is ridiculous. And so I don't do sit-ups, but I've been doing them, and I don't do concentrated efforts on my stomach. I'm doing them now. That's been my new workout regimen. And so, anyways, cannabis helped my leg the other day. It was amazing. Last night, actually, it was last night. I've lost weight with cannabis. I've regulated my eating habits. My metabolism has changed. I I I deal with fibromyalgia and neuropathy and cannabis for both of those issues. I have arthritis. I know I sound like a walking, like I should already be dead. Just put me down, bury me. But I have arthritis. I mean, when I write a lot, or when I'm using my hands a lot, when I'm driving a lot, I don't know why that, but I use topicals for that. And what I do, again, it goes from education. I've had people tell me topicals do nothing for me. Nothing. I squeeze it on there. Nothing. So I say, look, squeeze it on there, or rub it in, and rub it in. Rub it in until the skin starts to warm up and the pores start to open up. And now the medication can get deeper, can get a little more transdermal, can get into the fat cells, maybe. Yes, now it can help you. And that's how I use for the arthritis in my hands. Maybe my knees start popping. I'm like, ooh, let me rub a little something there if my feet hurt, or they're burning, and I have something I can, you know, I use that. There's a topical specifically I use, but I'm not doing a shout out to them right now, even though it's fantastic. And that's the thing. There's so many different things we use. I think through the education of products, um, we learn so much. Anyways, thank you everybody for joining me today. I have to cut it off somewhere. I'm terrible. I just keep talking. You guys are amazing. This is the High and Empowered podcast, where it's about you. It's about your education in cannabinoids. It's in your education in yourself, in your true authenticity. Don't have to be anything for anybody. Be you for you. Be the strength that you need to be. You search for it, you have it already. This is the show that we're here to remind you how amazing you are, how amazing you've been, how hard things have been for you, and you've pulled through, and the things that you've accomplished. So I say thank you to you. I say thank you for watching and listening. You can find us on many different networks, restreamed, and we're out there, baby. We're out there. I don't know, whatever. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to go back to smoky a little bit, just a little bit. And catch us next week, next Wednesday, live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on the Facebook, on Twitch, there's a bunch of them up there. There's like a total of 13. You can find us in different places, and we're there. And then later, there's a podcast, or they take just the voice, and it's on the Podbeans or whatever Apple has, whatever Samsung has, whatever all of them have. I don't even know where it goes. I know it goes. I know Dualistic Unity takes it and runs with it somewhere. And run with it. Run with it. Take it. I don't know what's happening anymore. But you're all amazing. Thank you again for joining me. Yeah, I guess that's it. If you ever have any questions, send them. Get them to me. I will answer anything I can. I probably should have on the chat. I'm just going to mention that. I didn't even know if there is. Look me up. Let's chat. Got to run. Really enjoyed. Oh, Honey Smith. Well, I wish I would have seen that. See, I don't even see the chat. I'm terrible. Thank you, by the way, for commenting, and I will definitely reach out to you. Again, everybody, thank you. Gotta go. I mean, I don't have to go. No, I do.